tries to run, and Scout walks through the door. Oh, darlings, this first story is moving at a pace that is going to make your head spin, because in the span of a single week, Willow went from desperately scrambling for leverage to being handed a way out, to almost using that way out, to being stopped in her tracks by the last person she expected. And every single twist in that chain of events connects to choices other people made that Willow had absolutely no control over. Let's start with where Willow was heading. The paralytic is gone. The supply is finished. Drew is recovering and speaking and getting closer to the moment when he can walk out of that house and tell anyone who will listen exactly what was done to him. Jack was out of ideas about finding the black box. And Willow, staring down an inevitable exposure she could not prevent, made the call that felt like the only remaining option. She called Jack and told him she needed out. He arranged it. Fake identifications. A plane. A destination somewhere far from Port Charles and everyone in it who knows what she has done. She was going to take Wiley and Amelia and disappear. And then several things happened almost simultaneously that changed every piece of that plan. Valentine walked into Jack's office carrying the black box. Just like that. He had found it, or been holding it, and now he was presenting it as a bargaining chip to get his frozen financial accounts released. And Jack, who had been about to facilitate Willow's escape, suddenly had what he needed to potentially keep Drew quiet after all. But before Jack could reach Willow with that information, Nina made her move at the lake. Drew taunted her. She pushed him. He went into the water. And suddenly Jack is managing a crisis involving one of his most important ongoing situations while Willow is at home in the dark, packing frantically, completely unaware that the situation is changed. The preview shows it perfectly. Willow on her hands and knees in her house, searching or packing, the room dark around her. And then a sound at the door. And then the door opens. And then Scout walks in. Scout, coming to deliver news about her father. Walking into a house where Willow is in the middle of something she absolutely cannot explain. Saying the word that stops everything, Dad. Willow is not going to be able to flee tonight. Because explaining suitcases and panic behavior to Drew's daughter is not something she can do without everything unraveling immediately. The escape that was almost hers has been interrupted by the most unexpected possible person. The good news, and there is a version of this that counts as good news for Willow, is that the black box situation may change the calculus entirely once Jack connects with her. If Brennan has what he needs to silence Drew, the frantic escape may become unnecessary. But the damage of almost running, whoever saw her in that state, whatever impression was left, that does not simply disappear. Jason's heart is pulling in two directions, and Port Charles wants to know which way he goes. Now, darlings, let us talk about the question that has the entire General Hospital fan community passionately divided, because Jason Morgan is back in Port Charles, and everyone wants to know what comes next for his heart. And the conversation happening among fans right now is one of the most genuinely engaged debates this show has generated in years. Let us lay out the landscape honestly. Before Jason's arrest, there was real momentum building between him and Britt. Things were said. Feelings were expressed. The kind of words that carry weight and do not simply evaporate because time passes. Real fans remember that. But Jason came back from Jakarta as a changed man. He went to Danny first. He left town with Danny before telling almost anyone he was home. He has been clear and consistent that his son is his priority now in a way that is different from all the previous times he said something similar. This time, the thing that changed him was too significant to simply return from unchanged. The fan voices saying he should remain single for a while, that he should focus on healing himself and being present for Danny before stepping into anything romantic, those voices are making a genuinely thoughtful point. Jason has been through something traumatic. Trauma does not resolve itself because the external danger is over. It takes time and intention and the kind of quiet that romance rarely allows. But the fans who love what existed between him and Britt are also not wrong. That was something real. It built over real time and real circumstances. And abandoning it entirely because of what happened may ultimately feel like another loss imposed from outside rather than a genuine choice. The name Serena keeps appearing in these conversations too. She is arriving soon. She is being positioned around characters who matter to Jason. The chemistry test possibilities are real. And Port Charles has always had room for unexpected pairings that grow from friendship and proximity rather than grand romantic design. And then there's Lulu, a name that some fans are floating with genuine curiosity. Two people who have each been through extraordinary things and who have important people in common. The honest answer is that Jason's romantic future is genuinely open right now. And that openness, that lack of certainty, is actually one of the most interesting places for this character to be. Anna's mission turns toward Britt, and the danger is very real. And now, darlings, we close this week with a storyline that is the most genuinely alarming thing happening in Port Charles right now, because Anna is not well, and the mission she is being pushed toward by the voice in her head is about to point directly at someone who has already survived too much to deserve what may be coming. After Anna's conversation with Jack about Ross's death, Peter showed up. And Peter, being exactly as petty and targeted in his influence as you would expect from a hallucination rooted in Anna's deepest guilt and grief, told her she was wasting her time, that she should have been asking about Britt. That Britt was the person who deserved Anna's attention. Now, let us think about the logic inside the hallucination, because understanding it helps understand the danger. Peter blamed Anna for his end. He blamed Valentine for withdrawing support. In his distorted internal narrative, the people connected to Faison's legacy, who survived while he did not, are people who owe him something. Britt is Faison's daughter. She carries that blood. And in the twisted accounting of a mind that never accepted the consequences of its own choices, Peter may see Britt as a target that represents something larger. What this means practically is that Anna, a woman trained to precision, deeply capable, and currently not operating from a place of clear judgment, is being pointed toward Britt. And the people around Anna who might intervene do not fully understand what is happening inside her mind. Jason rejected the idea of riding to Britt's rescue again. That is the right decision for his life right now. Danny needs him. His own healing needs him. And stepping back into the pattern of protecting Britt from danger is the exact pattern that cost him months with his son. But someone needs to be paying attention. Because the threat coming toward Britt is not from a man with a weapon or a scheme she can see and prepare for. It is coming from someone who loves her in a distorted, damaged, completely unintentional way. It is coming from Anna Devane's fractured mind. Tristan is being positioned as someone who could step into a protective role in Britt's orbit. He is new to Port Charles. He does not carry the same history and complicated relationships that make protecting Britt so personally costly for Jason. He is simply a good person with the right skills in the right place. And Britt, who has survived so much and finally has a future she is learning to reach toward, deserves someone in her corner who is there because they chose to be. Not because obligation requires it or history demands it. Because she is worth protecting for her own sake. Whether that turns out to be Tristan, or whether Port Charles finds another way to pull Britt back from the danger coming her way, the urgency is real. Anna is moving. And the destination she is being pointed toward is someone who does not know to be afraid of her. Port Charles is holding so many simultaneous dangers right now, darlings. Willow's escape interrupted by the one person who could not have been anticipated. Jason sitting with a genuinely open future and a community of fans passionately invested in every direction it might go. And Anna, beloved, legendary, deeply unwell, being steered towards something that could hurt an innocent person while the people who could stop it are not yet seeing clearly enough to act.